first topic today is how past relationships can affect your new relationship. And I just want to say, I can personally, I've been affected from a couple of past relationships, and it kind of, how can I say? So my past relationship kind of affected the new relationship because I used to bring all the bad things, like, well, basically, lack of communication kills me. Like, I don't like lack of communication. So past relationships that was my biggest thing. It was the lack of communication. And sometimes being afraid to express yourself to your partner. I always told myself when I get in a relationship that the person I truly want to be with, I love and I want to marry, I'm going to not only express that what I want in the relationship, I'm going to live up to those things. So me personally, communication was like one of the things in my past relationships. In my new relationship, I try to enforce, like, communication is everything. And good, thank God, my man is a communicator. Jesus. But that affected me a lot because I turned into a person in the beginning as questioning my new relationship. Everything he was doing, I'll be like questioning it instead of communicating with him. And that is very hard for people that been through some things. Like, since I've been through some things, I'm questioning everything, and every move you make can affect the relationship in so many ways. So many ways. One thing it affected was even when you tell somebody that you had a bad type of situation, past relationship or bad relationships in the past, that should not affect you to where you get in a new relationship and you think that person is like that. You have to feel them out. You have to understand them a little more, because a lot of people go into relationships seeking to always, me personally, I went into a relationship, I always liked the battlefield. I always was the battle person in a relationship. I always had to get the last word or say something back. I wasn't seeking to like listen to my guy at first. I was just not looking for that. I was always looking for, I gotta say what I gotta say. I gotta say what I gotta say. And I had to learn over time that it's not about saying what you gotta say. It's about understanding what that person is saying, and he understanding what you gotta say, and vice versa. Because if you're not seeking to understand, you don't want to be in a relationship. Like, how can you grow in a relationship if you're not trying to understand who your partner is? And sometimes I think when you bring up the past to your partner, they held it against you. So I don't have that in my new relationship, that they hold that against me. But sometimes I think a lot of times I used to feel like if the person tells me a lot about their past, I will hold it against them.
Now, I've seen it a couple times where someone's passed, because I've known friends where they've been through some things where they themselves have been the victim of just abuse.
Right.
And so that's emotional baggage.
Definitely.
That they're carrying. And so then they take that emotional baggage into the next relationship, and it ends up putting a hamper on that relationship, because now you have this feeling of just distrust.
Yes.
And so you've closed yourself and made it almost impossible for the person that you're currently with.
Yes, definitely.
To actually be able to actually heal you, to actually
understand.
Right. To actually help you, come to terms with what happened, and to reassure you that that's not going to happen again. But instead, you push those, mannerisms and prejudices onto him, to where now you distance yourself from him, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think that sometimes past relationships can affect the new relationship if you allow it to. If you don't allow past situations to because everybody had past relationships and they do affect you personally. But if you don't acknowledge that they hurt you, it's going to be hard to heal from it. The first step of anything is acknowledging that it's a problem. When you feel like it's a problem, if you feel like it's a problem in a relationship and you don't acknowledge it, it becomes sour really fast. But I know now, as I was growing, I had to realize that I had to acknowledge I had a problem, then work towards fixing the problem. And the best way I did that, I did therapy. And when I did therapy, I realized I had so much baggage keeping me from loving the man I'm with, like, completely. And it's very traumatizing to not give your all to somebody because of something that happened to you that they can't fix, that they can't go back and say, well, this is how it's like, what do you do with that? So I did some Facebook feedback on this topic, and I'm going to talk about everything that someone had to say. So somebody said how past relationships can affect your new relationship is bringing up the past relationships. Do you think that's a situation, Reggie?
It definitely can be a situation, but I think, like, for a past relationship, if something traumatizing has happened in your past, your current partner can actually do something accidentally
and don't know,
and it'll just trigger it, and then that's when you go into that, that the whole spiral. And
that is the thing. Like, sometimes people do not know your triggers. People don't know what your past. If you don't tell because a lot of people say don't bring up your past. But if you don't tell your significant other about your past and it's something that is affecting you, when they do something, you could get triggered and act on it. You could react on something that they didn't even know that was a problem for you.
Right, and it's like, because back when I was in high school, I was always the type of person to advocate for couples to actually communicate. They always would come to me with
you was the counselor?
Basically.
Okay.
I was a counselor because I had to give them actual advice on, like, okay, but what you're telling me, have you actually communicated that
to your partner?
Right, to your partner, because you're telling me everything, which I'm like, all right, fine, but you're not telling your significant other the same thing, because y'all need to actually work this out amongst each other.
Yes.
Instead of coming to me for advice, which I'm okay with, but you have to be able to actually work this out amongst yourselves.
Yes. It's all about that. It's all about working things out yourself. Sometimes I think we go into situations where we want to communicate with the new person we with, but we don't know how they're going to take it. So we talk to our friends about it, and then that communication can affect the way you come at your person that you're with, because most of the times your friend's been around longer than your man or your woman. So they know you. So they're going to give you this advice and have you handle a situation that you could just communicate with your spouse and y'all can handle it together.
Right.
Because one thing I said was communication. Another thing was lying. I don't like a lying man. That is the biggest pet peeve. I don't like lying people. But me in a relationship with somebody and they lying, I don't like that. I gotta, even when it's a white lie, it's like, but why you had to lie about that? So it's all about boundaries. It's all about respect. And it's definitely about communication. And if you can't communicate with your spouse, then that's going to be hard to be in a relationship with somebody you can't communicate with.
You also have to trust them.
Yeah, and honestly, the trust comes. Because honestly, you could say you trust somebody, and as soon as they do something, you like, I'm not messing with them no more. And then you don't find out why this happened or what. It's so many things that go into being in a relationship, and I tell you, it's work. But I'm gonna go to somebody else saying something on Facebook. They said certain behaviors what she said, flag your senses. What do you think she meant by flag your senses?
Basically, there'll be certain ways that person reacts.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a red herring in a sense.
Yeah,
where certain actions are just triggered to the point where it's like, okay, I know something happened with you,
Yeah.
because of your current reaction on how you're actually taking things.
Right.
So just like certain just certain warnings, like certain red flags is just something that you have to actually be careful of.
Right. And honestly, let me tell you something about red flags. When you your past relationships can affect your new relationship. I know something about red flags. Sometimes we'll see red flags in our past relationships and into the new relationship that we feel is a red flag. And it's maybe not a red flag. It's maybe something you need to talk to your partner about that you don't like. Now, somebody being lazy and don't want to do nothing, that's a flag. But for everybody. But somebody that's doing something that you are insecure about, something, that's something you can't fix. That's something with self. It's a couple of things that goes with this whole scenario. But somebody else said easy as soon as something goes wrong, you start comparing your new boo to your old boo, and that shit goes downhill after that.
Oh no, that's a no-no.
That is a no-no. Do not ever compare your new boo to your old boo or your new man to your old man. The relationship will be done to me by then. I don't never want my man, or personally in my face, I don't want it. I don't even want it behind my back. But honestly, I would never want somebody to compare me to their last relationship. That is the biggest red flag of I gotta leave you alone because you're not over your past and go. Is that a big pet peeve for you, Reggie?
It actually is, Fago, in the sense that it's like, if you want to compare me to someone of your past, it lets me know that you were never completely over them.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If you compare me to your last boo, you were never over the boo or bear, whoever he or she was. If we doing comparisons and we trying to figure out, if we're trying to build a relationship, you cannot compare me to your past relationships. That's a no-no. Don't do it. Ladies and fellas, if you out there, do not compare your past relationship to your new relationship. That is a red flag. And to me, it just seems like the person should move right along from that person, or tell you to go back to your old boo. Another one someone said is by jumping into a new relationship without healing properly. And we basically been talking about that. If you do not heal properly, you cannot move on. I've moved on and didn't heal properly, and I had to heal properly in the relationship. And thank God I had somebody to I had a therapist to talk to here and there, and people and friends and family of what I've been through. So I think my healing process mainly was trusting myself, trusting that I make the right decisions to move forward. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you're ready to leave out of bad relationships, you have to trust yourself first. If you don't trust yourself, you're going to be right back with that person. A lot of times people don't realize that it's hard for you to move on mentally, because people still stay physically most of the time,
Right.
but mentally they don't leave. What do you feel about that, Reggie?
I think when people mentally have a block,
Right.
it's usually a sign that that basically what happened to them was very traumatic to the point where it's like they can never let it go, truly. Mm-hmm. Even if their friends tell them, yo, you have to let this go.
Right.
They have a real hard time actually coping
with the situation.
With
the old situation.
Right.
Well, the question is, how do you heal properly?
I think one of the main ways to actually heal properly is to, one, confide to your friends and family. Go see a therapist.
Yeah. Anybody that you feel comfortable enough to talk to. Can you close the door for me? Because they finna be loud. Okay. Anybody that you feel comfortable enough to talk to about your past, you should talk to. Past relationships don't define you. How you react to the past defines you more.
Correct.
The best thing you could do in every situation, in any relationship, is go in every relationship with a clear mind. A lot of times we are clouded with so many things, and we are not able to love the person genuinely how we should love the person, because we are affected by our past. But your past does not define you. You are strong. You are worthy, women out there, and men out there too, because y'all don't get enough credit. But I'm telling y'all is worthy as just as much as women is worthy too. And y'all keep living y'all life out there. Make sure you check out G Vibes every Monday, 6 to 7 p.m.